Alright, what's up guys? Imagine being 19 years old, living in Kakistan, and you decide to just randomly build $1 million business in Silicon Valley without ever leaving your bedroom. And just like a lot of these videos, it sounds like clickbait, but that is exactly what Mark did. Guys, he went from $0 to $80,000 a month. And a lot of you guys are probably making excuses. He probably had connections, inside knowledge, but this guy Mark had zero connections, zero budget, and he did not get lucky with a viral TikTok or anything like that. So in this video, I'm going to do a case study and a breakdown of the formula he used, which is the free work in public formula. And this is how he got his first 10,000 followers and how he landed clients like Perplexity and also Alex Hormozi, all at the age of 19. Anything is possible. Let's get into this video. So quick side note, if you don't know who I am, I've personally documented my journey on this channel from scaling my SaaS from 0 to 10K MRR, all the way to listing it for sale to private equity, all in my 20s. I'm in my mid 20s now, so a bit later than a lot of you guys. And now I help future founders speed up their progress by making these case study videos and working with them one-to-one. So with that being said, let's get into Mark's playbook. Let's break down how Mark even got started, guys. Mark wasn't always a design agency owner. He actually started as a technical developer. I personally did not start as a technical developer. Many of you are not technical, and if you are, you have a huge advantage in this space, by the way. You probably just need to crack the marketing. But 5 years ago, Mark opened up Figma, which is a design app, for the very first time, and just started grinding away on projects in Kakistan for clients. But the real shift happened in 2024. He realized that being good at the work wasn't enough and that he actually needed a way to grab attention. I break down so many distribution methods on this channel, and with this guy, he built in public. So how do you build in public? He created a Twitter account and just started posting his journey even before he started writing code. And more importantly, he committed to posting consistently. And my advice for you guys is if you are building in public, for the first 1 to 2 months, don't expect any results. Probably expect maybe 1 to 3 likes on your tweets. And this is exactly what this guy did. He set the standard of, I'm going to start this distribution method of building in public, and I'm not going to expect anything within the first 1 to 3 months. It's very common on any social media platform that you won't see any results for the first little while because you are paying down the information tax and you're learning along the way. That's why if you want to speed up your journey, get a mentor. But there's not many mentors for building in public. So this guy just started posting away. But within like 2 to 3 months, this guy scaled to over 25,000 followers on Twitter. And he launched his agency called Scale, S-K-A-L-E. And if you don't know what that is, they work with big AI and tech businesses, and he charges retainers $20,000 a month. But how do you go from a guy on Twitter to charging $20,000 a month? That's where we go into phase 2, which is the free work strategy. So this is the genius part of Mark's story. In the summer of 2024, he was applying for standard design jobs, you know, where you design the screens of certain apps, perhaps the landing screen or logos, whatever it may be. And the result is he got rejected by every single person. This was probably a season where he's paying off his ignorance tax and he just had to get better. So instead of quitting after all of these rejections, he decided to stop asking for permission. He launched a campaign where he did unsolicited, high-end redesign jobs for massive brands. His first target was Perplexity AI. And again, he didn't know anyone there. He just probably tagged Perplexity AI on Twitter with fresh, new redesigns of everything. So he went to the landing page, looked at the hero section, redesigned it, posted it on Twitter, and let all of his followers and X grab Perplexity's attention. And I always recommend this strategy because it's just giving free value out to the world for the first little bit. So the breakdown is 1 day of focused work, which is just designing that specific part of Perplexity's landing page, the hero section. Because you are doing the work, the cost will be $0. And his result, the post went viral with over 110,000 views overnight. And I've done this method before. My advice for you guys is to be decent at the design. You're not just going to post crap on Twitter and expect to get Perplexity's attention. You have to be decent at your design job, and then the momentum from your followers will promote the post and you will get the attention of whoever it will be. So give free value, at least be decent on your work and have a little bit of momentum with the followers. But that's what you do in stage 1, where you are building the followers by just posting and building in public. So after the post went viral, Perplexity did not immediately hire him, but that one post booked him about 10 to 12 calls overnight. And on those calls, he closed the majority of them. And lo and behold, that was his first month of business. So if you guys are in a situation like this is where I say don't get cute. If you find a format that is repeatable, just repeat it. And that's exactly what Mark did. He did the same for Alex Hormozi's business, acquisition.com. He redesigned their homepage, posted it, and Alex Hormozi himself responded. And that tweet brought in, lo and behold, 15 to 16 calls. Now, this guy does have an agency, guys. This method, if you have a SaaS, I know a lot of you guys want a SaaS and are building one right now. This works more so for B2B SaaS, where you do have to hop on a call with somebody. They have to feel comfortable asking information about, okay, what is this SaaS? How can it solve my problems? Will it actually bring value to me? And you close them on the call if it's a good fit. This doesn't really work for B2C consumer apps. I mean, just imagine selling a $20 subscription and being on the call for 45 minutes. It's just not worth it. With that, I would just say this method is applicable to any business model. Just make sure the business model is higher ticket. B2C is low ticket. Just run ads or post Instagram or TikToks if you're doing B2C apps. So if you're a founder who hates the idea of building or designing things, this is where I pretty much come in. I've developed apps and platforms and also helped with the marketing for clients who just want the results and have a little bit of money to spend without the manual labor on their part, because I know a lot of you guys are busy. So if you guys want my help, obviously book a call in the description. But with that being said, Mark did the manual labor publicly, and that was pretty much his lead gen. That was his marketing. Now you're probably thinking, okay, Caleb, but I don't have followers on Twitter. I don't have followers on Instagram. If I post free work, nobody will see it. But Mark gave his 5-step playbook, and I'm going to break that down right now. And this is how to go from 0 to 5,000 followers so your work actually gets seen. So step number 1 is the grind. This is the 0 to 500 followers season. And basically you have to engage. Mark left 50 engagement bait posts on Twitter on other designers' posts. And there were no shortcuts here. You do have to borrow other people's audiences. And this is broad advice for any business. On YouTube, you do make topics about other people. Viewers come in. So this is applicable in any business, whether it's influencers, social media, software, or even local businesses. So step 2 is the bridge, which is the 500 to 2,000 follower season. And in this step, guys, you run giveaways. You pretty much package up your knowledge, put it in a file or Google Doc, ask people to follow you or comment it to get the Google Doc. And when people follow you and engage with it and reply, obviously that tweet will go higher in the algorithm, just how X's algorithm works now. And when they do that, you send them the DM of that Google Doc. And that's exactly how Mark and a lot of people I help get from 500 to 5,000 followers. And Mark hit 10,000 followers just by doing that 3 times. So it is an applicable strategy for a lot of you guys, especially in the Twitter space. So step number 3 is study viral data, guys. You guys need to use tools like Tweet Hunter to see what is already working in the algorithm, because at this stage, guys, you're big enough to go viral, but small enough if you don't post valuable content, nobody will see your tweets. So you're pretty much relying on the explore feed for Twitter. And this is where you test the wildest ideas and just go haywire. So step number 5 is trend jacking. You pretty much find the business or brand that everybody's talking about right now. So if everyone is talking about ChatGPT, then you pretty much just redesign ChatGPT if you're in the same situation. If you have a SaaS and everybody's talking about Cal AI or their new Rise app, then you would talk about the new founders of Cal AI or the new design for the Rise app and how it can be optimized. And really you could hook people in by saying, these people did this many things wrong with this app. My app is better because I did this better. It works on Twitter. Trust me, I've seen people do it before. And then phase number 4 is the economics of volume. So Mark's revenue growth looks like a staircase, which is first month was $10,000, second month was $20,000, third month was $40,000, and then the fourth month is $80,000. Absolutely insane for his age, because he is doubling revenue every 2 months. And the tech stack, obviously guys, this is an agency, but it's Figma, which is free to start, Blender, which is also free, Notion and Slack just to manage his business, keep track of clients, that's also free to start, and also X, which is also free to start. So guys, you don't need a fancy website. You don't need a $10,000 SaaS subscription. You just need skill and a way to reach people. Before I got into a very high leverage business opportunity, which is a lot of you guys know, SaaS, I ran an agency and I got a lot of my clients from Instagram. Didn't even have a website. I went to go work with very famous clients, but it just goes to show if you guys have skill and have one vertical to reach customers, you guys just need to spam that until it doesn't work. So the final lesson I want you guys to take from this video is pure volume beats luck. So what Mark asks himself is, what is the volume of work I need to do so that the statistical probability of failure is close to 0? And you guys need to ask yourself that every day as well. So let's say you're running a SaaS and it's a higher ticket SaaS, so you do have to book people on a call. So you send 5 DMs per day. Obviously, you're going to burn out by day 10 because nobody is actually going to convert. So you guys need to set the standard higher. Send 50 to 100 DMs per day. You'll then find out that your account will be capped at a certain amount of DMs per day. So that's where you don't give up. You do some ninja ways to to create more accounts, perhaps with different IP addresses detached from each other, to send mass DMs. And that is what young founders are all about, finding those scrappy ways. I literally did that with my B2B CRM. I was maxed out at like 50 DMs per day on Instagram. I had about like 50 to 60 accounts all running through 10 Android phones. I have a video on my YouTube channel a long time ago showing that, but that's how I got to my first 2K MRR, because running Facebook ads for that business was just way too expensive. So you guys need to find scrappy ways, set the standard higher, and do so much volume that it negates luck. And that's it for today's video, guys. If you guys have any questions regarding SaaS, how to grow it, how to market it, even if you want me to build it, click the link in the description, book a call with me, and that's it for today's video. I will literally see you tomorrow. Have a good one.